Welcome to the C-Suite podcast with me, Russell Goldsmith. We are back at MPE Berlin for a second year. This is Europe's largest merchant payment conference, and we're recording this episode in partnership with Ecommpay, a global acquirer, payment gateway, and orchestrator that offers fully customizable payment solutions to its clients. I'm going to be interviewing a number of the speakers and attendees here on Ecommpay's booth, and I really hope you enjoy these conversations. So joining me now is Volodymyr Sytnikov, the CEO and managing partner of Brainstack. Vova, good to see you. Should we start with a quick introduction to Brainstack?
Of course, we are a product company, product subscription company. We do apps and we do some web subscriptions. These are mostly products that you can find in App Store, and just because of the Apple rules, we all moved to web processing. And it happened, I think, like 5 years ago. Right now, company is a multi-product company. We have 6 different verticals. Also, we have a powerful billing team, and which eventually came to our own billing orchestration. So right now, we are building and scaling digital products, and we are almost 400 people in the team, and we are a rather big company.
Brilliant. I know you're pretty busy at MPE. You were on stage yesterday and you're about to join another roundtable today. So I'm keen to get some highlights on both. Let's start with yesterday's talk, which looked at the fact that whilst merchant payments are complex, they often are wrongly presented as complicated. So what was the main takeaway from that session?
I personally love MPE. I've been here like 3 years ago, and I was looking for payment providers to work with. And now to be on such guys from Shopify, from Forter on stage is a huge honor. And I think that what was in common is that complicated things will be easier, but that will create a complex solutions. I can give you an example.
Yeah, please do, yeah.
So it's now super hard to integrate something and to test something into a funnel. There are several payment providers, there are several anti-fraud providers. And I think that right now with all this agentic development, it will be much easier to integrate and test solutions and find the best solutions. Moreover, I think on the next MPE we'll see a lot of interesting startups because the talented people could code something so fast, and it can be such an interesting feature in your funnel that you may buy it and you may test it super fast. So I think that the whole system will be less complicated, but will be more complex because you will choose a lot of instruments to work with, and it's normal because we are all merchants. We are battling for our LTV, lifetime value, and that's why we are battling for every percentage that is better and better. And marketing costs are only skyrocketing.
Yep. And what about the session that you're doing this afternoon? That's on the new and the future rules of recurring payments. What are the main points that you're hoping to make in that session?
I think that there will be, I've seen the list, there are a lot of guys from subscription business there, so I'm looking forward to host this event. And I think what is the most painful here are regulations from all the market. And we've seen a lot of changes throughout the years. It's like I am here in 10 years working in subscriptions. I've seen every major change we got, and I think that subscription business is you can't deal it like with the e-commerce, or you can't deal it like with travel. So it's something special, and I think we all, like merchants, we should work with payment providers, we should work with card schemes. So that's the discussion we'll have right now.
Okay. Main focus of our conversations here on Ecommpay's booth today is agentic commerce. Where do you think early adopters can genuinely win in this space, and where could moving maybe too early create additional pain points?
I think there are 2 types of revolutions, from the bottom and from the top.
Okay.
So I personally like the revolution from the bottom. And what I believe in is that people will create more and more like little things. Like, I think that success will be like in agents that dynamically change the price based on a traffic source, based on a quality score of a traffic. That things will definitely work. But if you are talking about complex solutions, I'm not so into it because, like, let's talk about the cases when your agent will buy a ticket from some big airline company, and then how could like this agent provider be the licensed to buy this ticket? So it's like it's in nowhere. And so these big things. Also, I've been in a product school 10 years ago, and we all discussed Alexa on the market.
Yeah.
We were doing great job. We were writing on a desk that it will change everything, and people won't ever go to the store, won't ever go, because they will like go to their, I need some fresh beer, and beer like will be just near your flat.
Yeah.
But still a number of small shops where you can go and look for fresh bananas is more and more today. Every neighborhood has like small shops. But we were talking about it. It will completely change the user behavior. So it's an interesting rally, and we'll see how it goes.
What do you think the realistic time frame is for it to actually happen, to become mainstream?
I think about it as a Bitcoin. I first remembered that. Firstly, I saw it about like 8 years ago. Until this time, not even every payment provider is integrated with stablecoins. So I think like 10 years, it will be the like first place when somebody will integrate something.
Yeah.
And on a huge scale. I'm not talking about these micro things. Micro things will be like day after day, week after week. But if we're talking about something super big, I think it's 8 to 10 years.
Do you think from the consumer's perspective, it's easier to understand than maybe stable coins? Because we've all been used to for years, you buy something off Amazon and it says you like this, you may like that kind of thing. And that's kind of like the early stages of someone, not you being recommended something. And then obviously that would be an easier move into then having your own agent start recommending you things. Do you think, or will consumers not want to give up that kind of, control? I
think that people love to spend time in the shops and choosing something. I think it's in economy, it is said that generationally, economics is changed every 30 years. So I think it's like our kids maybe will use it like that.
Yeah.
So to change something dramatically, it's like 30 years of economic cycle. So I believe maybe with AI, which will take it faster, maybe 15 is fine.
Yeah.
But still there should be early adopters, and there should be kids who do it only like that. And they even don't know how it previously worked.
Yeah. And do you think, this will all lead to new failure modes that maybe the industry may have underestimated?
I think about this question, and for me it's very interesting. They can go into a loop. Can you imagine you have an agent that is negotiating something with another agent, and they're going loops around it, loops around, and they're just burning tokens. And you wake up and you haven't bought your bag.
Yeah.
You just spent like $300 on tokens on the best negotiation things. They will look for best negotiation books. They will read it. They will just use it in some kind of way. So I think this is maybe the case, and it's optimistic thing. Also, I think about it as there may be a pessimistic way.
Yeah.
We all had some kind of things in a history where something happened very badly. Like I can tell you about nuclear power. There were a lot of countries who wanted to make nuclear stations, which is rational. And after the problems with Chernobyl, a lot of countries, they said, no, we won't do that. So I hope it won't happen, but I think somebody will spoil something with the help of AI. AI will control laboratories, AI will control armories, AI will control politics, and I think it may, like some of those incidents can change the regulation dramatically.
Final one for you. What role do you think payment service providers are going to play here?
I think they should work together with card schemes.
Okay.
I know that MasterCard are working on rules. I'm sure that Visa is working also, and I'm sure that there should be some kind of basement, unified rules for everyone. Where can we use it or where we can't use it? Because of responsibilities, because of friendly fraud, because of everything, because of those loops. There are a lot of things that we can't even expect.
Great to get all your views on this topic. Really appreciate your time. For now, Sytnikov, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. So I'm now joined by Julia Streets, MBE, founder and CEO of Streets Consulting. Julia, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure. God, my goodness, you hear the noise in the background.
Absolutely.
It was about a busy conference.
Yeah, we love it. We absolutely love the atmosphere here, and it's great to be kind of in the mix doing these interviews. Tell me about your business. Let's start there.
So I run a business development, marketing and communications consultancy in the world of fintech. So right the way from this glorious world of payments, but into think digital assets, think reg tech, think capital markets, and far, far beyond. And everything we do is anchored around two simple things that are nothing to do with us.
Okay.
It's all about what the clients care about. And number one is growth, and the second is transformation. And right now, they are the two most important things that are front of mind of any founder or leadership team within the industry.
Brilliant. Now, I know you're quite busy here at MPE. I know you're going to get all dolled up this evening for the, you're hosting the awards.
I'm the MC tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm the MC tonight.
So you have all your glad rags on, but you also chaired a panel here on people in payments.
Yes.
Tell us about that. What were you doing on that one?
Well, I was really delighted because there are so many sessions here about, as you'd expect, right, okay, so agentic AI, thinking about the future of payments, international payments, domestic payments, the dynamics of security and fraud, etc. What I was really impressed by was that there was this dedicated session towards people and thinking about, in this AI-driven world, what do the humans in our organizations really need? And so for that, think about, there are 5 generations working in financial services right now. So whether that's leadership at the very top, or whether that is the new entrants coming in, whether they're apprentices or whether they're graduates or school leavers, and thinking about all those skills and all the development that everybody needs to be doing for themselves and organizations need to be providing for them as they go through this career journey. Because what we do know to be true is if you look at the World Economic Forum and so much other research about the future of jobs, it's all about being human in an AI world. So those professional skills, the soft skills, the human skills that people call them, and that's exactly what we're focused on. So it was a phenomenal panel. We had such different practitioners. We had one who is a neuroscientist. We had one who's a sports coach. We had wonderful Miranda McLean from Ecommpay talking about her business and her career journey. And then we had somebody else who's written a book about the chief pay officer in organizations and what they should be thinking about in terms of fundamental skills, domain expertise, but this extra layer of human skills. And that's what really matters right now.
Yeah, you mentioned agentic commerce just before there, and that's been the key talking point for us, with all these interviews that we've been doing today. It'll be interesting to understand, because you're talking about, people in payments, what's that going to impact on the skill sets of people in payments?
It's a really good question. And I think there are sort of 3 ways I look at it. One of them is on the senior leaders, thinking about when you're wanting to expand your business, either domestically or internationally, thinking about how do you collaborate with other partners and therefore apply the technology that you are brilliant at to interconnect, that whole thing about interoperability, with other partners right the way through the value chain and also across borders. So when you think about it from a leadership point of view, it's a blend of strategic wisdom, collaboration with your partners, and also your deep domain technical and industry skills, if you like, your customer understanding skills, let's call it that. Then when you start thinking about individuals in the organization, a lot of them are going, well, actually, is AI going to take my job on one hand? I would encourage people to reframe that question, which is, how can I get AI to co-pilot with me in order to help me smarter at my job? And therefore to be able to allow me to focus in on the human premium. That is the relationships that I build in in the industry, in my company and with my clients. And really to be able to use the AI to empower me to be even more brilliant at my job.
Yeah.
And then for new entrants coming in is actually, how do you develop your industry understanding using AI tools and workflows in order to be really smart? So when you walk in the door, you not only are well informed, but you come across really well. Yeah.
And in terms of agentic commerce, do you think consumers are ready for it? Are they going to embrace it, or are they going to kind of think, well, I'm not quite sure about, don't trust it quite yet?
Well, there were some brilliant sessions this morning that talked about the percentage of payments that are already, if you think about the world of GEO and how we search for insights, and we might just put a random search term in going, look, I need to go to the airport tomorrow, but I've got no time to eat. Where shall I go? It will surface things, and then it will actually enable the payments around there to not only pre-book, but also pay at the same time. And I use that just on a very simple journey that could happen tomorrow. But when you think about researching things we want in our lives, the recommendations that are surfaced and also the ability to make that super easy. But there are some considerations in the middle about when you've got agent to agent collaboration is who's doing the checking, where are the risks, what are your permissions and your guardrails, and how free do you want that AI to be on your behalf? And I think that's the thing that people will begin to think more and more about. Will they pause before they go, or will they just go, no, I kind of trust the industry? And that's why the question that's come out in all the discussions is trust.
Right.
And how does an industry, do we demonstrate that you can be trustworthy?
Okay, and final one for you. We talked about how busy you've been here at MPE and are about to be as well this evening. What's the one kind of key takeaway that, from this year for you from MPE?
Well, there's a lot here that I expected to talk about. I mean, I fully expect to be talking about agentic AI. I fully expect to be talking about payments and risk platforms and layers and governance and all that sort of thing. I'm looking forward to a panel that I'm doing tomorrow, which is all about quantum.
Okay.
And it's the final panel of the conference.
Right.
And really thinking about what is that massive dynamic shift that quantum is going to bring to this industry. We sit here just slightly battered around the face by the pace of AI. Actually, when you add quantum into the mix, that is going to change things hugely again. The big message that's coming through is you've got to get ready now. So that's the thing. I am really looking forward to that.
Great. Excellent. Well, listen, great to hear your insights on all the topics that we've covered. But for now, Julia Streets, MBE, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. So I am now joined by Cihan Duezguen, the CEO and co-founder of Green Banana Group. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much.
Should we start with a quick introduction to your business?
Absolutely. We are a pan-European buy now, pay later orchestrator. We give merchants and acquirers infrastructure. With one API or behind our API, you have access to multiple BNPL providers from white label, branded solution for B2B and B2C.
Okay, now on that topic of buy now, pay later, you're actually talking about all that on a panel discussion tomorrow. What are the key points that you're hoping to make there?
I think the key point is that buy now, pay later getting more sexy. Why? Because at first BNPL starts with one single provider with a merchant in a relationship. Now what we see is merchants exploring into new markets, and they have pain to find always the best BNPL provider for their own requirements. Is it a traditional retailer, or is it luxury, and the behavior at buy now pay later space in the different kind of regions are also different. It's in Germany, for example, it's more open voice. Outside Germany, it's more credit or debit cards. And to cover this fragile landscape, you need one API, and this one API harmonizes that. And the key point is meta layer, orchestration layer.
Okay. So the key theme that's running through our conversations that we're having here on Ecommpay's booth today is agentic commerce. If AI agents are making purchasing decisions, on our behalf, do you see those agents also deciding how the purchasing should be financed? So that's, choosing between buy now, pay later, credit, or maybe splitting those payments automatically?
Absolutely. It makes absolute sense. If AI agent makes a decision on my requirements, what I want, do I want a red cape or do I want the blue jeans? He can make also the decision of my requirements, how I would like to pay. And I think in the first approach, it will be more controlled by the shoppers themselves. They will say, okay, my limit is $100, or I want to pay in 3 rates, and then there's the decision starting. So it gives more trust.
I was going to ask, do you think consumers will trust AI to decide how they finance a purchase?
I think so.
Right.
It will not happen today or tomorrow, but it will becoming more the new normal.
Yeah. Over how long do you think that will take?
It's a very interesting question. Actually, technology runs so fast. You can't say it like 20 years ago. Okay, it takes 10 years. Now, when technology is there and the behavior is there, and the new generation using new technologies more as the old generation, I think we will see a boost in 3 years.
Yeah. So where do you think merchants are today then with agentic commerce? Are they experimenting? Are they building early roadmaps? Is it a kind of let's watch and wait and learn from everyone else?
Yeah, when you I start my career in the retail space. I work 20 years in the e-commerce space, and the first year of e-commerce wasn't. The retailers don't look really to e-com. They mention, hey, it's just a trend, and tomorrow it will not runs. And now, when you look now, everything runs on e-commerce. Everything runs on online. Is it streaming? Is it music? Is it shopping? Is it whatever? And the same is still the same behavior with new technology. When you look to new technology, the first is the first mover, then the second mover, and then it will come to the traditional. Today, in 10 years, everybody mentioned how you will do your checkout by yourself when you have Agentic. Yeah. So it's still an exploring fast, and it will getting faster and faster.
Yeah. Well, on that checkout note, then, what do you think? An agent-ready checkout is going to look like?
It's very interesting. I think at first you will set up what is my preferred payment method. Yeah. Me as an own shopper, and then to give a recommendation. I want to pay $100 directly with a credit card, or I want to pay whatever is over €100 until €500. I will pay in 3 rates, or I will use the other credit cards. Why? Because I want to collect more loyalty program, something else. Yeah, and on this behavior, it will get in more trust.
Okay. Final one for you. What role do you think that the payment service providers, should play when it comes to merchants deploying, agentic AI?
Very key point is the access to the customers. Actually, the payment service providers are in the point of they have access to the data, they have access to the customers. The merchant have also this availability access to their own customers. So as a payment service provider, it's very, very important that they are ready for agentic commerce. Why? Because when the shopper makes the decision, I want to give my agentic agent the possibility to pay how I want to pay with different kind of options, the payment service providers need to be ready for that. Otherwise, they will lose money.
Yeah. Well, listen, Cihan, good luck with your session tomorrow. But for now, thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Thank you.
So welcome back to Andre Moeller, Head of Payments, Risk and Fraud at Volkswagen Group Charging. Andre, it's becoming an annual event. It's your 3rd time on the podcast.
Oh, it is? Yeah.
Although,
the first time in London, right?
Yeah, that's right. Although, and then obviously last year here on Ecommpay's booth. I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit disappointed though. What's going on with the shirt? Where's the bright shirt this time?
I changes to a better way of trousers,
Right.
So yesterday
we'll have to get those on camera at some point.
Yeah, I had yesterday the bright shirt.
I spotted you. I was expecting that today. Don't worry.
I think with the trousers and the combination, it's too much for the ice.
Right. Let's pick up on where we left off last time. You just launched continuous invoicing to reduce fraud exposure in your MIT model, which is merchant-initiated transactions. A year on, has it delivered what you expected?
Yes. It was a good decision to go from the monthly capture to the continuous invoicing to the charging session to receive closer to our users and customers, and also reducing the fraud way. Because now we understand very fast if somebody is cheating us or not, because of the continuous invoicing, and not giving any more fraudster 30 days to cheat us, right?
You talked last time about the long journey from MIT to potentially more customer-initiated models. Has your thinking evolved on that, or is MIT still fundamentally the right model for charging?
I decline what I said last year. I think a combination of both is the right way, because as you already know, or as I mentioned before in the last podcast, was that our business model is based on subscriptions plus the charging session. So in that case, the right way from my point of view is to work MIT-wise the transaction fee, the subscription fee. because we have a 3 tariff model, 0 base free in a lower than 7.99 and some other price point in a third way. And the more often you charge, the more interesting can it be to level up the tariff because of the prices and something. And in that case, it makes totally sense to go with the subscription flow when you have the, for example, second or third tariff to capture in the beginning of the month the monthly subscription, and then go with the CIT flow in the continuous charging sessions. Yes.
Okay. We're focusing our conversations this time around on agentic commerce. What's your personal view, looking at your industry in particular, in terms of where that sits and whether early adopters, can genuinely win in that space, or does it create even more pain points for them?
To be honest, when we see the charging industry, agentic commerce, from my point of view, isn't any positive way of doing things, because we don't sell any physical good where you can work with agentic commerce. We sell energy to our users, to our drivers who drives electric vehicles, and that's nothing where you can do something better with agentic commerce. And beside to this, of course, we're selling also the hardware to the cars, like wallboxes or spare parts or cables or something like that. And that's also something, it's a very specific product to a very specific user group where you don't need agentic commerce, which doesn't mean agentic commerce isn't something I look into it. From my daily work and from my job I'm doing, agentic commerce is a very, very interesting point, especially in the e-commerce sector. So, for example, I hear, sorry to say this, in some other podcast 2 or 3 weeks ago from
it's okay. There's other podcasts out there. We're happy that you can do some interviews with them.
And a good friend of mine, which is the CEO of Auto Payments, Mirko Grau, was part of this podcast from Payment and Banking Exchange, and they were discussing agentic commerce, and he gives very deep insights what the Otto Group is doing there and what his personal view is in that case. And there I appreciate, if I would work in the e-commerce sector more than I do now, agentic commerce is a highly valid point. We have to talk, we have to deliver, and we have to discuss, especially if you see points like risk and fraud. So agentic commerce in the future, some AI agent is ordering something for me as a human, and what will be happen is something is going wrong. So send out the wrong product, send out the right product to the wrong address. Who's capturing this risk? Is it the AI agent, or is it me who give the AI agent the information? And if we see the point further, if one AI agent talk to another AI agent because the one AI agent don't find anything, so open claw and something like that, and the change get longer and longer, and who's responsible for the risk, who's responsible for the payment and something like that, that is something where I don't have the right answer at the moment, but it is something we have to discuss and find out, because the liability shift there, the risk is shifting there, and we have to control this.
What about from the consumer side in your industry? And maybe I've got this wrong, but when I think about when I need to charge my car, I'm not necessarily thinking about where agentic AI can benefit me. I need to charge my car. I'm going to charge the car.
And no AI agent is there to put the cable in the car.
So I mean, do you think it's going to be something that consumers think about in terms of your industry?
To be honest, I think yes.
Okay.
Especially if you see the car manufacturer himself, because a couple of minutes ago I was talking to colleagues from BMW. They have a different model like we do. And I don't explain exactly what we do to them, so highly confidential in that case. But they explained to me that they working with a decoupled payment in the car. So it means you plug and charge, you plug in the cable, the car is charging, you don't need to start and stop, and it's capturing behind that. Done. And I think their AI agentic could be some valid point where they have to think about it. So, for example, we're talking about a car. So, we are in the north of Europe where we will have winter again, and it could be an idea if the AI agent knows the temperature and order by themselves, for example, the seat heater for the next 30 days or the next 3 days. So at the moment, everything is on monthly subscription setup. But if you combine this with AI agents and agentic commerce, and combine this with a weather forecast, for example, I don't need a seat heater in the wintertime when it's 10 degrees outside, or I don't drive the next week. So in this combination, I see a high potential for agentic commerce in the combination with other products that the AI agent knows, okay, Andre will go tomorrow to Wolfsburg. He is driving at 7 a.m. in the morning and we will have -5 degrees.
Right.
So I drove now since 2 weeks an electric car, so there's a lot of software in, and that would be great if the software and the AI agent can communicate with my house, with my home energy management system and say, okay, Andre needs to go tomorrow at 7, so we need the energy that the car is full first. We need to start the climate to heat the battery at 6 around.
Yeah.
And he's staying in Wolfsburg for 3 days, so he need for the next minimum 3 days the seat heater. So we level up the temperature in the car, and if we don't have the seat heater, we buy it just for 3 days.
Right.
Because we know, or my car and the AI agent knows, in the combination with my calendar, when he's back after 3 days, he stay for another 7 days at home and work remotely. So he don't need the car, he don't need the seat heater. That would be incredible.
Yeah. Amazing. What do you think a realistic time frame for all this to happen is?
Oof. That's a really good question. So if you asked me this last year, I would give an answer 3 years.
Okay.
If you asked me this 6 months ago, I would answer probably 1 year. But the solutions are running so fast in a time, I can't give a valid answer about that one.
Well, what about the role that payment service providers play in it? What do you think that is?
Also, a really good question. I think the business model will stay because we as a payment guys, in the combination with our companies, decided, or with the product, decided which payment we need. And in that case, our PSP has to do something or not. So I think for the next years, let's say it so. For the next years, the PSPs will have a valid role in combination with the direct payments like Klarna, like PayPal, where you can set up, where you don't need any PSP, to be honest, if you have a different size of a company, you know. And but it could come a time where no. We have small, medium-sized KMUs and something like that. They already need the PSPs. So, for example, but companies like us, which have a different size to in KMO, we have a different turnover in the year, selling cars as the group, selling other things and something like that. It could happen that we obviously don't need a PSP, but I think every time for credit card acquiring, PSPs will play a valid role. Yeah.
Great. Always good to see you. Thank you once again, Andre Moeller. Cheers for joining the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, joining me now is Emre Talay, the founder of Payrails. Emre, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to me. Should we start with a quick introduction to the business?
Sure. So I'm Emre, one of the founders at Payrails, overseeing all the commercial activities. So for the ones who never heard Payrails before, so even though we did an amazing branding today in this event, so Payrails is a modular payment platform for enterprises to help them to upgrade their payment acceptance infrastructure.
Brilliant. You're here at MP as one of the main sponsors of the event. So what are you hoping to gain from being at the show?
So first of all, MP has an emotional place for me. So I have been joining that event since 2017. So 5 years as a merchant, and in the last 4 years as a vendor. So this is one of the most exciting events for me because you happen to learn something new. So here you happen to meet merchants. So you happen to hear their practical problems, real pains, challenges they're facing, trying to find a solution. That is always very interesting for me to hear every year. So that one part. So learning new, problems, challenges. Second is reconnect with the good peoples. At the end of the day, we are human beings, right? Every year I see good faces. And that makes me really happy. So because this is on the occasion I see them every year. It's like sometimes we even have some jokes. Oh, this is our anniversary. So we met you last year. He's MP.
Yeah.
So again, reconnecting with the good people and learning new stuff.
I can see that from the smile on your face there. Just out of interest then, having been on the merchant side, that must give you a good kind of insight and advantage in terms of what you're doing now, I guess.
Definitely. So that has been a competitive edge for us.
Yeah.
So because we always basically use our background as a filter while making decisions. So how would we react to that solution when we were at Delivery Hero?
Yeah.
So that is essentially giving us the power to build solutions that matters to merchants.
Yeah. We're here on Ecommpay's booth. They're a company that you will know well because just recently you announced a strategic partnership, which, as far as I understand, to revolutionize global payments for enterprises. Tell us a little bit about what that means for the industry.
So essentially, Ecommpay is one of the best acquirers and the PSPs in the region, right?
Okay.
And you always want to work with the best ones to offer the best companies and the best solutions to your clients because the merchants, the clients are looking for the best solutions. So again, back to my point, human beings. We are all human beings, right? The objective at the company level, but for me, what's the most important thing is working with good people together. So having very transparent conversations, trying to do some brainstorming sessions, how we can join our forces to support merchants in different countries, how we can help them to solve software problems, not only payments, but software problems attached to payments. So with this partnership, we aim to essentially deploy that perspective to merchants prem, whichever the problem that they are facing, be it reconciliation, be it acceptance, be it chargeback, be it tokenization. So that's very powerful.
Now, while you're here, I'd love to get your views on some of the questions we're asking a number of our guests today, which is the topic of agentic commerce. But from the businesses that you deal with at Payrails, what stage do you think the merchants are at today?
I think it is still at the buzz stage.
Okay.
So, there is no real use case.
Yeah.
I'm a bit pessimistic, maybe. I'm sorry for that.
No,
people might expect to hear from me, oh, it's amazing. Yes, it is great technology, right?
Yeah.
But I have been thinking around that. There are some certain products that we can build. But the question is there a problem that product can solve? So I was talking to a couple of merchants and asking a very simple question. If you start embedding MPCP, so agentic commerce, and offering some solutions around that, would you be ready to pay double? No?
Yeah.
So still, the commercial value is not clear from the merchant point of view. So I think still in the buzz, but not necessarily in the negative terms, still the discovery phase. What is the best area to deploy that technology and what is the value we can unlock?
So what do you think in terms of the first people to move towards it then? What, is there going to be an advantage of having that?
I think MasterCard, Visa for sure, they are the pioneer, right? So they are encouraging the ecosystem to adapt the technology. So, but without a distribution channel, it cannot go far. So big retails, big channels, they should own it and basically show the real use cases.
Yeah.
But still, I'm struggling as an end customer. Let's say two of us. So would you be giving your money to me? You will think at least 5 times.
Yeah.
So whenever you transfer 20,000 euros to someone, you check the IBAN number 10 times, right? So would you be ready to trust another player in between that you are not seeing in person?
And what about though if someone is the first to move on this? Are there challenges? Are there pain points that they hadn't considered? Things like fraud and what have you?
Of course, without fraud, you cannot imagine payments. And these things are amazing when you hear about the experience point of view, but it will be also adapted by the bad people. So they will also use for their purposes. So then how you can find the right balance to also block that?
Yeah. Do you think consumers are ready for it? Are they going to embrace it?
I don't think so.
Right. Okay. That's interesting.
I don't think so.
Okay.
So I think again, so as a consumer, me,
Yeah.
so I'm checking, and I'm a founder of this company, right? I'm checking 10 times whenever I send the money.
Yeah.
So money is very important for an individual, right? Human being, and you don't want to put at a risk. So I think still takes time. It will still take time.
Yeah. And do you think that will vary across different sectors, market size, transaction size? What do you think on that?
I think travel. So in my view,
Okay.
because travel is a very interesting and sophisticated industry, and there are different players. So you might make a booking, and that booking can go through at least 10 different participants in the ecosystem. So having let's say, player ecosystem, the technology, so agenting might adapt faster than maybe retail.
I guess in travel, consumers are used to using a website that is already trying to
Yes.
find them the best price
Yes,
anyway.
exactly.
So I guess it's a natural step from there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or even some users, they still go to the agent, right? Offline.
Yes,
So you
yeah.
make a booking, you make a reservation. What's interesting, like payments, so it goes through multiple partners. Channel manager, the PMS, booking engines, so forth, so on. So within that let's say ecosystem where there are multiple players, agenting might be very useful to connect the player in a faster manner.
Yeah. Final one for you. You said you've been coming to MPE for quite a few years now. How does this compare to previous, and what's the one key takeaway that you're going to, take from this year?
So we made Payrails more visible this year compared to last one. So look, I think every is amazing. So again, for me, it's both emotional. I see people, so here that makes me happy. So every it's getting just better. I cannot, let's say, materialize that, but it's just feeling-wise, it's getting better.
I'm sure the organisers will very much appreciate you saying that. Emre, Talay, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So joining me now is Rita Narkevičienė, the Payments Operations Manager at Kiloverse. Rita, thank you so much for joining us.
Hello.
Should we start with a quick introduction to Kiloverse?
Yeah, so Kiloverse is our business building ecosystem, and it is like an operational force for new businesses that we are investing in Kilo. So it is infrastructure, expertise, people who are working with, and teams that helps these merchants to launch fast.
Excellent. And the key theme and topic that we're talking about today is agentic commerce. Where would you say you are within that journey at the moment?
Kiloverse is very actively investing into AI, and we already have infrastructure which is bringing a value across all our chains, so marketing, product development, and payments as well.
And do you think the consumers of your products are kind of ready for agentic commerce at this moment?
Well, I cannot say the answer yes or no, because there is a feeling that they will need to pass some adaptation, because while consumers are becoming okay with automation, but nevertheless, when it comes to payments, they want it to be secure, and they want to make sure that their payments, their money are safe. So.
Okay. And what about in terms of, within this space, the people or the companies that, are the first to move into agentic? Do you think that they're going to have advantages, or will that just create more issues and challenges for them?
Yeah, so the first companies which will be the first ones, so of course they are going to make rules, and the customers are also going to adapt to their rules. Yeah, so of course these companies are going to win. Nevertheless, it will be important to make sure that the transactions, the payments, and all the procedures are secure, safe, and also underlined under some regulations.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to generate even more risks, though, in terms of the payment process?
Of course it will.
Yeah.
Of course it will.
Talk to me about some of those risks that might occur.
So starting from the payments themselves. So as I said before, that the regulations will be very important. Also, the authentication will be needed to be regulated, and Also, regarding chargebacks, I want to say to talk a little bit more, since it is no one is talking how the chargebacks when AI is purchasing you the item gonna be treated. Will merchants will be made to take the risk, and the customers will abuse merchants by fraud chargebacks. It means that merchants are not going to win in this game.
Yeah.
So it's really important how issuers are going to treat these chargebacks. And also regarding security, it's very important that transactions would be regulated as well.
Okay, and then finally then, what do you think the role of payment service providers should be within this whole space?
Also, it is very important.
Yeah.
They should make sure that everything is also regulated, and that their systems should be also be driven by AI. Security is also very important. The payment providers will have to play very important.
Well, that's really interesting to hear. Rita, Narkevičienė, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, that's it for this episode from MPE Berlin. Thanks once again to all my guests who took the time to chat to me today, and of course to Ecommpay for hosting us on their booth. If you've enjoyed the show, please do give us a positive rating and review on your podcast app of choice. And of course, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that via the website at csuitepodcast.com, or you can find me, Russell Goldsmith, on LinkedIn. But for now, thanks for listening and goodbye.